online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh no.
Hey.
We need the VMA master mix. To
Yes,
this.
we do.
It's a little bit of a slow intro.
Hey, but
Never
you
done
know,
a slow jam.
but it's like sexy
Hey,
though.
hey.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
It's
I like
kind of
it.
smooth, and you know what I'm saying. Just get it in and.
Nice groove.
Get it in, huh?
That was like stop. Ladies and
Thanks for
gentlemen,
tuning
what's
in.
up? We appreciate you for tuning in. This is, of course, the America's Best Dance Crew, aka ABDC After Show. Here at AfterBuzz TV, I am your host, Lem Gonsalves. As always, you can find me at The Poet Saint. That's on all social media handles. Of course, I can't do this by myself. I got to my left, Miss Desiree Murphy. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? You can find me at dmurph625 on Twitter and Instagram.
Big Nino Llanera. What's up, man?
What's going on, y'all? It's Nino, and you can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And back again, ladies and gentlemen, with the neck rolls, the
What
body
up?
rolls, Mr. Jeff Thurm.
I'm Jeff, and you guys can find me at the club. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeff_Thurm. And if you guys are tuning into the VMAs this weekend, check out our interviews. AfterBuzz is going to be there with some exclusive interviews. So very excited to be tuning in at the VMAs. Hope some of these dance crews will be there to talk
there
to
you
them.
go.
So
Absolutely.
check out those interviews.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. And we're gonna get into that because we're gonna have a special episode next week because of course the finale is going to be happening this Saturday, but we're going to get into that in a minute. Right now we're going to jump into this episode, the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. We have 3 crews left. We have Kinjaz, Super Crew, and Quest Crew,
That's right.
which I think is great. I think the judges got it right this season. I think the ones they eliminated are the ones that, in my opinion, needed to go. I don't know how you guys feel. You guys can feel free to chime in. But I like who's left.
I'm happy.
Of course, and I was mentioning this before, but of course, my favorite is Kinjaz, who I think that is gonna take it all the way. Whoop whoop, you know,
Yee.
just saying. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. They each got to do 2 dances this episode. You know, you got to fill that hour, which I'm not mad because I thought it was dope. Quest Crew threw it off, or started off, I should say, with an 80s throwback.
So fun.
That
So
was dope.
Very
fun.
fun.
Definitely fun.
That was dope. I love the outfits.
Loved it.
I grew, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in the 80s. That's my heyday, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think one of them had the same outfit I think I went to like school in. You know what I'm saying? Like 8th grade.
I think I wore something like that like last week, so it's fine. Good job, Quest Crew.
Yeah.
You know, with the throwback.
I thought it was a super fun dance. I really like that song, Shut Up and Dance With Me. I think it's a really fun song. I loved that they, you know, took it to a theme. I really liked that he like started out with like the hosting, and I mean it's interesting because like they kind of used their clothes like it's almost like they used the VMA Fashion Week with taking their pants off and like flipping through each other's pants in the bullseye,
cool.
kicking the balls. Like it was fun. I thought it was really dynamic. The judges said it was unpredictable. I thought it was unpredictable. I thought it was a super fun, super cool way to start the show.
Yeah.
I dug it.
I liked that at one point they threw in the whip and the nene.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch
Yes.
that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, they snuck that in.
It was good.
That was like
Snuck
front
that
and
in.
center, too.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Frankie called out the flying 69 that he loved. Which is fucking
Yeah.
That was
hilarious.
funny. That was funny.
I gotta say, I was very skeptical about the judges at the beginning of the season. But I love their dynamic. I think they're really fun, and I love watching how excited Frankie gets
Right,
for each
yeah.
of them. I feel like
Right.
they're each like stoked. They don't necessarily give like very constructive criticism. They like a lot of them, but like they're fun judges, and I've learned to. They've grown on me a lot,
Right.
And especially as far as like other judging panels and other TV shows go, I just think they're fun.
I agree. I think they're fun. I was a little skeptical too, just because of their background. I mean, it's like only one. Tiana Taylor is like a choreographer or what have you, but you know, they have background in entertainment.
Right.
You know, T-Pain, you know, with the music, Frankie with Broadway and all that kind of stuff. But I think it was good because I think the judges in the previous seasons, to me, the best judge that ever was on there was J.C. Cezanne.
I agree with you.
I think
Yeah.
he really
He
like
was very good.
he would break down these dances. Like he would like literally like, okay, you need to do this better. This was kind of
Exactly.
off. Like and I love the criticism that he gave. I thought it was good. But then it was like whenever someone else would say something, it was kind of a throwaway. I think with this, I think all the judges, I think they gave what they were able to do with their strengths. You know what I'm saying? I mean, T-Pain cried. Come on now.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That
Emotional.
was-
That would happen.
Crazy.
I mean, he cried.
Right, I think it was all split too, because you have Frankie kind of giving like the theatrical kind of point of view.
Sure.
Then you have Tiana giving on the choreography, and then you have T-Pain kind of just the overall entertainment kind of situation.
Right.
So the mesh is really really cool with them.
Sure.
And I think it turned out well, better definitely than I thought it would be actually.
Absolutely. I was pleasantly surprised.
Very much. So.
Agreed.
Yes. Judges also said that they commented that Rudy's back, which I mean made a huge difference. It was like, and when they kind of performed without him, I was like, well, it's still still dope. But when he came back, and he came back with a vengeance.
Right.
I mean, he was doing all flips. He wasn't scared. He wasn't
No,
shy.
not at
He shy
all.
away from anything. So it really elevated their crew, and I was glad that they got to have him back. We talked about the pants coming down and the 69 dance or whatever.
It was crazy. It was all over the place. The explosion where he was like upside down and
Yeah.
then like the legs and
That
the
was,
arms.
that was Joel. I think that was Joel Lethal on Instagram was doing those tricks. He was upside down,
Yeah.
and then shooting through like the middle and all that other
Right.
stuff. But he was
Very
doing most
cool.
of the like the tricks that had to be where you were bending and you were kind of moving, you're up in the air. So shout out to you, man. You were doing a good job.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I mean, they definitely brought it. They definitely brought it, that dance. Kinjaz. Ooh, my favorite. We played Earned It beginning of the show in honor of their dance to Earned It by The Weeknd. And they decided they were going to dance on the bleachers the whole time. So, first of all, they're doing a slow jam, right? And then they're going to stay on the bleachers, so they're not using the entire stage. And I've been in the studio, and I've seen, it's very imperative you use the stage because it's a
Very
big
true.
studio. So they're going to stay on the bleachers the whole time. And so I was like, oh, can they pull this off? Can they pull this off? Of course they did. I mean, what do you guys
always
think?
do.
Like, tell me. Because I'm going to tell you, I think it was amazing. I think it was one of all seasons, I think it was one of the best routines of all seasons. I mean, that's just me, and I could be biased or whatever, but I think with using what they had, being that it was a slow song, just the way they put the choreography together was just brilliant.
It was great to see them see them in a different kind of element. It was still Kinjaz, obviously, right?
Sure.
But to see them kind of just put in that choreo and just that slow jamming, kind of just that groove and the smoothness to everything. And like you said, just them staying on the bleachers. I was nervous as well too.
Right.
But then they just totally pulled it off. The dynamics from different using the different levels to their like really really dope like tailored suits. I thought it was great. I think they did a really good job.
Both of us are like,
Come on, just give it to me. Just tell
liked it.
Let it out.
I compared. So last week, I think it was at IME that did the crazy like somersault flip down the bleachers
Yes.
in
Yeah.
each
Yes.
other's
Yeah.
laps.
Yes.
That's a dope way to use the bleachers. This dance could have been done the exact same way on the stage, and they didn't use the bleachers, in my opinion. They stayed at one part of the stage.
To
It
the
could've-
full advantage.
Correct.
Okay.
The dance was dope. I love that they slowed it down. It was a totally different vibe for them. I loved the Michael Jackson feel. It was sexy. I mean, clearly being in the audience, T-Pain said that everyone needs to get a pregnancy test. Like, clearly it exuded sex.
Yeah.
For the semifinals, I wasn't that impressed. By them being like, all right, we're secluding to the bleachers, which means
Right.
this is make it or break it. Like, I don't think that dance had to have been done on the bleachers, and I don't think the bleachers added anything to it.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a Kinjaz fan too, but yeah, this
But you're gonna hate.
routine.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not gonna hate,
That's
but
okay.
I agree with everything Jeff just said. I really do. It wasn't my favorite, and I don't know. there was just something about it to me that, you know, it's cool to see them do something different.
Right.
But at the same time, I just felt like the energy wasn't there for the semifinals. Like, if you're going to do it earlier on in the season, I would have to say.
Okay, so this is my take on it.
Okay.
Because it is the semifinals, I think that it was imperative for them to do something different out of the box. And that's why I think I appreciated it so much, because it was a slow song. And of course, everything up to this was high energy from all crews. I mean, all crews were bringing high energy, which is typically what you want to see, you know, in this type of competition. But I think for them to take a slow song, a not high energy song, take a slow song like that. Again, that's tied into the VMAs because the weekend is performing. So take that song and do what they did with it. I understand what you mean about the bleachers, and I agree. I think the bleachers did add a dynamic because of the levels. They wouldn't have been able to have the levels that they had if they were all on the stage. So I think that's what was good. But I do understand what you mean about like IME, like did the flip and like used it to that full advantage. But that being said, the crowd went crazy.
They did.
And the judges went crazy. So, and two, I think if we would have saw it live, I think it would have been that much more impactful.
I'm in no way saying that it was bad.
Yeah.
It's still, I thought was great. I just don't think it was the best dance of the year, and I don't think it was the best dance of the episode. But we'll get to more of that later.
Okay.
But the naughty karate, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was funny.
It
I
was
like
dope.
that.
So next up is Super Crew, and they use the "Where Are You Now" by Justin Bieber.
Love that song.
Me too.
Love.
It's a dope song. It's a dope song. And it says, they were talking, you know, in the segment right before they danced, that this song hit home with them in their personal life because, as we saw when they first were introduced back into the competition for the show, they had talked about, like, they kind of went their separate ways a little bit. They were kind of doing their own thing. And then this is why this song meant so much, because it was kind of like, you know, again, reminiscent of their life and how they kind of came back together for the sake of the show. Which is dope, and I'm glad that they did, because again, they're another crew that I think deserved to be there. I think when they won their season, I think they deserved the win that season. So I mean, it was good to see them. I was interested to see how they're going to do with that song because of how fast it is. And they're not known for their footwork. They're known for, you know, more of their b-boy stuff, the gymnast kind of stuff that they do with the flips and stuff. So it was interesting to see how they pulled it off. How do you guys think they did with that song?
I loved it. I might be biased because I really do appreciate this song. Like, anytime I'm trying to get ready and go out, I'm putting on
this is your song.
this song. I have Bieber fever. I now have Super Crew fever. I was all about them tonight. I loved this performance.
I loved it. They did some crazy floor work. Like, it was, I don't know who it was, but they went across the floor on their hand and I just like moved forward. That's super difficult, right?
Right.
But then also just to kind of see them in a kind of different element once again, I think was really, really cool. I just this goes into like theatrical and costuming and all this other stuff. I don't really necessarily like what they were wearing. I think this goes into, you know, everything when the judges think about it or whatnot. But as far as their dance, their choreography, I think it was great.
Well, the judges did make a point of their clothing and basically said, because they didn't have the, you know, costumes, like, because everyone's been using, you know, intricate costumes to go along with their dance and the music and stuff like that, and they didn't. And they were kind of, in my opinion, they were complimenting them because it made you focus on them dancing.
Right.
Not the costume itself. Because I think there's been some crews that, you know, are already not there anymore, that the costume was it.
Like
you know?
over the top. And
and the
I
dancing
totally
was
agree.
subpar. So you're focused like, oh, that was amazing how that looked visually.
Yeah.
But like, how well did they dance? It's a dance competition.
And another thing with Super Crew too is they really stay true to the roots as far as like them being b-boys. You always see it. It's always so prominent with all the performances. And this is just one of them as well too. They did such a good job with that. They never stray away from that. They put in some choreo, which is great all the time. But when they do their tricks and when they're just all over the place, like, it's just amazing to see. So yeah, shout out to Super Crew. I think they did a good job with this.
Word.
I thought there were a lot of really cool moves. Just, I mean, like the crazy cartwheels they did. I mean, there was a lot of, I mean, each crew brought out all the stops tonight. Like, the shit that was on the show tonight with just each crew with people just jumping on their hands and the cartwheels and the flying and the jumping through the people. It's just like everyone brought it tonight.
Right.
So, yeah, I thought this performance was pretty good.
Like I said, yeah. I mean, I think it was solid. And like I said, the judges said they nailed the fast footwork, talked about, you know, the clothing and how they'd have to focus and just on the dance. So I thought it was solid. I don't think it was their best performance by, you know, the season. But I think it was definitely a solid performance. And at this, you know, this is semifinals. And they're thinking up to this point that somebody's getting eliminated. everybody wants to make it to the finals, so they're, kind of bringing their A game
Right.
in this regard. Speaking of, they go to, make the announcement, somebody's going to get let go.
Yes.
Who's the two
And
crews going to be going forward?
At this point, who did you think was going to go home?
In my opinion, I thought it was going to be, Quest Crew.
I did too.
I thought it was going to be Quest
Yeah.
Crew.
I 100% knew no one was going home.
Really?
100%.
Really?
As soon
Why?
because as soon as Frankie started speaking, I knew that he was doing that bullshit judge thing where no one goes home. I 100% knew everyone was safe and all three were going to
Class
semifinals.
action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff saw straight through it.
It saddens me that I watched the show by myself so that I can't prove. But as soon as that happened, I rolled my eyes. I was like, yeah, go figure. I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I would have been sad if only two got to do the dance. I'm glad that all three of them, got to.
Right.
But I mean.
And it's interesting you say that. And if you thought that, I believe you. I would think that they would do it for two reasons. Number one, if only two crews were going to dance after, like whatever two crews were left, for the voting, I thought it was going to be a timing situation with the cast itself, meaning that this is an hour show. Obviously, they just edit it to where, they make it to where it fits within the hour.
Right.
But I wasn't
Good
thinking
point.
that at the same time. I was thinking it has to only be two crews because there's only 20 minutes left in that. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of think production was in on it. I think it was the plan all along.
You think it was a plan?
Yeah, I really do.
And I'm sure it was. I mean, knowing, and you have your background in production, you know how it works. I don't know, so...
I don't... I mean, that's not a thing that I would, say because of my production background I would know. But the way that, the host was able to, so easily transition into...
Gotcha.
I kind of just, put the pieces together, and I had a strong feeling that they knew going into it that they were probably going to do all three. But I don't know. Unless one, really badly fucked up tonight, and then... I don't know.
So a little birdie told me, I'm not going to say what it was, but I have some intel that this was a last-minute decision.
Okay.
That this
Cool.
just happened. Same thing of why the actual live show is going to be on Saturday versus on Sunday for the VMA. Something must have happened within production within the last 2 weeks or whatnot for them to do this. So, but
and that very well could have happened. I mean, like you said, you inside scoop, and I think that I'm glad. That
I'm totally glad.
I'm super happy
good
about
with
it. Yeah.
Whatever the reasonings for it, I'm glad that it happened because I think all three crews deserve to be voted on and see who's the best one, for that. So
because I also think that to vote at this point, it's what do you vote on? Do you vote on the crews up to this point?
Right.
Do you vote on just tonight's performances? Because we didn't get to talk about it last week, but I don't think after last week's performances that I Am Me was the one that should have gone home based off of last week's episode alone.
Oh, just
based
the
off of the
episode
arc of the series,
Gotcha.
I agreed with it. But based off last week alone, so I was a little nervous that decisions tonight might have been affected by other things, and so I'm glad that America can vote on all three because I think these three are the top three, and I think we kind of knew that from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's America's decision from here on out.
Absolutely. So then, that being said, all three did get to perform again. So it went back to Quest Crew, and they had this whole post-apocalyptic.
So dope.
Very cool.
That was super. That was probably the best costumes all season. I mean, the Kinjaz costume that they had also, I can't remember which season, which episode it was, but it was pretty dope. But this was really, really dope, especially if you're a Mad Max fan and into all of that. But yeah, it was really dope. I will say though, you might want to hate on me, but I think that the dancing did not match up to the costume.
I don't know any single dance move that happened. I don't know what they did. I know that there were tires. I know that there were car parts. I know that some guy was doing things with knives. I have no idea what happened in the actual dance.
Yeah.
I was so distracted and blown away
Yeah.
by the costuming and the set,
Yeah.
but I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, there was one moment, I don't remember who it was, but they were holding him and he was facing back and then kind of went back down on the floor. That was the most memorable move to me. And then just them being on the trash cans, that was kind of cool, but nothing outrageous. And
It was. The set was great. The costuming was great. I called it the steampunk madness kind of movement that's been happening recently. But the guy who did the act trick, I believe it was Steve Terada, and he's a stunt guy, and he does a lot of that stuff. I think that was one of the most memorable parts.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on, and so visually I'm just here, here, and here.
Right.
I don't remember the crazy power moves, but I just do remember Steve's crazy solo which is really dope. And the tire trick where he flew through the tire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
which,
that was cool.
They kind of always do, but that's a small little hole.
Yeah.
Like, really?
I mean, to me, they just didn't do anything like special. Like they didn't do anything that like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And it was interesting too because when they were talking to judges, like they said Dietrich's solo was dope, which I agree, it was cool. But they said the choreography was really good, and I'm like, what choreography? Like I didn't really see anything that stood out. I think their costumes were amazing.
Yeah.
But this just makes me appreciate more when we're talking about Super Crew and how they didn't have the amazing costumes, and you could just focus on them dancing and see what they were doing. So. I mean, that's just me with that, but, shout out to them.
I mean, because in their first dance, they jumped through, like, pants and underwear. And then in this dance, they jumped through the tires. Like,
Right.
It was almost the same kind of move, so it was kind of
Exactly.
repetitive.
Yeah.
But I guess they were trying to play up. Their staging was amazing. That's the best we can say.
Sure.
Entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah,
Entertaining,
definitely.
absolutely. So it goes again to Kinjaz, excuse me. And this was, again, super dope.
Master of the Dojo.
I love this one.
I love
Yeah.
They said they were going to introduce their sensei, and they use these panels, which to me, I don't know about y'all, but going back to, I grew up in the 80s, I remind me of Karate Kid. So,
yeah.
like, it was just, I immediately thought of Karate Kid and just the whole, that whole theme. And I thought it was just so dope because the way they did it. And I'm glad, I think it was T-Pain that mentioned when they were talking and said that it actually looked like a dojo. Like, and for now, of course, we're looking on TV. So we have the benefit of camera angles and stuff like that. So they can make it look like whatever. But they're sitting at it live. So
Yeah.
for it to look live like a dojo, that means they really did something dope. So I don't know if that's attributed to the people who do the set design or what have you, because we know that one episode they got to choose their set design. I don't know if that's always been the case, but shout out to whoever was able to pick that because that was dope. They obviously had to do the moves associated, so they had to go behind, but the illusions that they created was amazing.
Incredible.
Was
Yeah.
amazing. What do you guys think?
So this panel trick has been used a lot within like the college dance community.
Okay.
And some of these guys actually went to my school and they did they were on Pac Modern Dance team.
Okay.
And Billy Villain was and a couple other people that were on this team, and they use these panels to kind of create this illusion, and it's been done. But the way Kinjaz did it today with the different levels and the things that they did with it was just even beyond what I've ever seen, and I've seen this done multiple times.
Wow.
But I appreciated this even more because of the cleanliness that they put into it, and then just the whole theme behind it. But I could see where live it could look like a dojo just because the way everything was positioned
Right.
and the way they kind of boxed it in that area, like made it look like made that stage even smaller because now everyone's eyes are kind of drawn to that middle portion.
Right.
I enjoyed this so much. Like I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was very cool. I really respected what they did. I did want a little bit more. Like when they did like the hand thing.
That was my favorite.
That was so cool, and I
Yeah.
think there could have been a lot more done with that. I did like the you could like sneak people by, and you could like you people showed up kind of out of nowhere. I thought it was very, very clever. They really do impress me. I wanted more. One of the judges brought it to my attention, which I really liked. I did feel like I was on a journey. I don't feel like I was on a TV. I do feel like I was in like a 3D, like going through the dojo. So I 1000% respect that. But again, there's only so much dancing that I remember from this specific performance, because I feel like they were like moving each other around, and there was like at the end part when they were all in the center, dope, so clean.
Right.
Side note, I think they would make like such a good show in Vegas because they tell such
Oh,
a great
yeah.
Oh,
story.
absolutely.
Yeah, so you know how like Jabberwocky says Prism right now?
Sure.
I could totally see them in Vegas or some
100%.
sort of like traveling show
Oh, yeah.
where they're just the theatrics, the dancing,
Right.
the power moves, everything would just be a really cool story to tell.
One thing
Yeah.
I like about them too, and we were just mentioning about how with Quest Crew, how like they did, even though different themes, two different types of music, but they were still doing the kind of the same moves. And to me, with Kinjaz, they had the slow jam at first, where they were on the bleachers, and then they did this, which is totally different, but the dancing was totally different, and the vibe
Totally.
was totally different. And that's
Right.
another reason why I appreciate them,
Lot of
because
respect.
they're very diverse.
Absolutely.
Everyone's going to have their style of doing things, and it's funny too, because one of the things that when I was able to interview them before the first episode that aired, that was one of the things they said. they said that we can adapt to any style. And we think that that's going to help us in this competition, which, they made it to the top 3.
Yeah.
And so because they can kind of, work, they're not boxed into one different, one certain style of whether it's b-boy or what have you. So shout out to them. I think that's why they're my favorite. That's why I love them. That's why they're going to win. Anyway, getting to the Super Crew, the last dance of the night, we had the violin jumping off at the beginning.
Fucking loved this.
That was
yes.
That was
This was my favorite one of the entire night.
Yeah.
Me too. I loved how they were like at one point they were directing the dancers. That was so cool to me. And the whole thing from beginning to end was so entertaining. And it was one of those ones that we always talk about where like you blink and you miss something. This was it.
Right. They were coming out from left to the right, up and down.
They were flying.
Yes, they really were flying.
They flew like I don't know how far he went when they did the dive over like off the top bleacher.
Yeah.
That must have been like 10 feet, right?
Just at least.
It was crazy.
Flying, did the backflip off the other thing. Like the violinist was dope. The conductor was fun. He was having a good time. His acting was fun.
So
this
good.
one for me was like just the best of the night. I love. This was a finale performance in my opinion.
Well,
Agreed.
the judges said it. I can't remember which one it was, but they said that it came to win. And this was the performance to do it. Like they literally left it all on the stage. They're like, if this is what we have to do it. And I think it was dope because they incorporated the acting, they incorporated the dance, they incorporated the violin. Who was the group that did the beatbox? Which group
That
was
was
that?
Kinjaz.
That was Kinjaz.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Kinjaz.
So it was good to have a separate entity, like an instrument, like what Kinjaz did. And I think it's so dope to have that. And then, because that you would never think that, like a violin and hip hop dance,
Never would've
like
guessed that.
that don't
Yeah.
even make sense.
Yeah.
But to integrate that and have that to begin the dance, and then kind of have this build up, of this like this symphony, like this orchestra or whatever, but it's all dancers. I think that's dope.
No,
I think that's
definitely,
really
definitely.
dope. I think that's really dope. And to close out the show,
Amazing.
that was. I mean,
was a
I don't know if they
good
knew that. I don't know if they knew they were going to close, but that's definitely a dope closer. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very, very memorable. And these guys, they just seem like likable guys in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why they're going to get a lot of votes.
Right. I talked to Dunok last week at T-Pain's pre-VMA event kickoff.
And for the people who don't know, explain who that is.
Yeah, so Dunok is from Super Crew. He was the conductor today.
Okay.
So shout out to Dunok, and he was such a nice guy. First time I ever met him, and he talked to me about the show and how I asked him, "How's it going? How are you guys feeling?" And he's like, "I'm super tired, man. This is like a constant just go, 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 go." You know how we talked about this before? Like this seems such a short season. Looks like it's like a big promo for the VMAs.
Sure.
But these guys are working really hard to really put on a good show, and they really, really want America's vote. Like Dunok said, like he's like each and every one of the crews is just like round the clock, working. So he's like, you'll be in for a good show on Wednesday when you see it. And obviously we loved what we saw in the everyone came for blood. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen on the Saturday show when they announce the winners, and just how entertaining it's going to be, because now everyone's going to be a little bit more lighthearted because
Sure.
they're going to know the winners. You know what I mean?
Sure, absolutely. And I'm sure they're going to bring all the crews back.
Yeah, they are.
And so it'll be good to see everybody back. I mean, they'll probably do a number like they did in the first show, opening number, and integrate, some celebrity guests. I'm excited to see number one who's going to win, but the show itself and the finale, how they're going to do that.
I am too.
Now, do we know if they're going to still incorporate the VMAs as part of it, as far as like, is something during the VMAs going to happen? Do we know that?
no idea.
Insider scoop?
No, because I mean, like that's one question I should have asked after I learned that they were going to do the Saturday show versus the live show. I'm pretty sure that winner's going to go to the VMAs.
Okay.
I mean, it's the road to the VMAs.
Yeah,
so
it has to be
has to.
associated.
they better,
Sure.
claim that Moon Man right when they get there. I'll be really disappointed. Then this really all didn't mean anything.
Yeah, this is nothing. This is nothing at all.
So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. But that's all for the insider scoop. T-Pain, you were a cool guy.
Well,
by the way.
Well, if they announce, is the finale happening live?
Yes, that's what
Well,
they
the
said,
VMAs
right?
is live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if they're announcing the winner live, like on Saturday, and the VMAs are live on Sunday, I don't know if these crews would what I was hoping was that like let's say Justin Bieber is the opener of the VMAs, that Justin Bieber would be opening with the winning dance crew
Yes.
as the backup
Right,
dancers.
yeah.
Right.
That's kind of what I thought the road to the VMAs meant, but I don't think that they would be able to learn and that
Something.
intensive routine in less than 24
I know.
hours.
Right, unless
Maybe
some
they
of
have
them do
something planned.
actually. So like how
Yeah.
it goes sometimes for the past live tapings is they'll all have like that end dance and everyone's all together and they're kind of dancing, and then that winner crew will have a special that they've learned beforehand. Each person, if you
That's what I
win,
was
you
thinking.
perform
Gotcha.
this
Yeah.
set of
Interesting.
8 counts.
Kind of like what they do like with American Idol, and it's like whoever win, you're gonna sing your
the
song.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you
So
already
they're
know the
all taught
song.
to dance.
Sorry. So that
Yeah.
I mean, they know what they're doing.
I think that's why it's so intense
yeah.
for them. They're all like, oh my god.
Right.
Like,
I hope they get to perform
Yeah.
at the VMAs.
That would be ridiculous if they didn't.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, again, it's the road to the VMAs.
Yeah.
They got to do something. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. Let's get into predictions because I want to know what everybody thinks. I don't even feel to say mine. But.
Yeah, what do you think, Lem? Who do you think's gonna win?
All right. So we'll start with Hater Jeff.
Oh.
So
I wonder if that guy. Are you still watching the one that said that you weren't going to watch if I'm still on this?
They were.
Please comment below.
They did.
Okay.
They did. They love you now.
Oh.
That's
They
fine.
love you now.
That's fine.
it's back.
yay!
All right. So Jeff, what do you think?
I think they're all going to win. It's going to be a tie.
Look at it again. No one loses.
I'm going to go Super Crew.
Super Crew.
Super Crew to take it all.
Why?
Do I need a reason? Because I know you're going to say Kinjaz, and I don't want to say the same thing as... No, I think... I just think they brought it. I think they're super... I mean, they're all dynamic.
Right.
They're all awesome. They've all
Right.
shown so many different, aspects. I just... they're super.
Okay.
And they're a crew.
Okay.
So they're America's best dance super crew.
Super Crew. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I'm with the dojo.
Okay.
I am with Kinjaz. I think they probably gathered even more fans now that that they're on national TV or whatnot. So I think that they're gonna win. They've been so clean. They've been so precise. They've done things out of the box. Lem's like yes, 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 and yes.
Absolutely.
So I'm with Lem on this one. And Kinjaz, good luck, guys. But shout out to the other crews. Y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I think that Kinjaz should win just because from week to week they've been the most consistent, in my opinion.
I was just gonna say
However, America's a voting and it's all about the fans.
Right.
So I think Quest Crew is going to take it based on
We were
fan
talking
basis.
about this. Dietrich's has a lot of devoted fans out there,
Right.
y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
They have
So,
a crazy fan
yeah.
base.
Because
I
of
mean,
the
everyone
way-
does,
yeah.
but
So because of the way it's being decided the winner by
Yeah.
voting, you think they're going to win based on that?
yep.
Okay, interesting. So, but you're saying that Kinjaz
I think Kinjaz should win.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, so you already know my prediction, but I will say why. And you actually said it, took the words out of my mouth, not to be cliche, but I think that they've been the most consistent out of all the crews. I think that they really haven't had a bad night, really. And then also, I think that they were the underdogs coming into this.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
else were winners in previous, in their previous seasons. They were the only ones that weren't, even though they did have a couple of members that were on previous crews as part of. One is part of Jabberwockies, which are an amazing crew. So they had experience, but still, that's only a couple of people, not the whole crew. So I think what they were able to come into that, type of, atmosphere and hold their own, do what they wanted to do, and just be consistent. And then again, it's based on this, these last two performances, I definitely think that they should win. And I think that it's a high probability they will, even though I know you're saying about, having fans and whatnot.
Right.
But just because you have fans doesn't mean you're necessarily going to vote.
true.
So-
That's very true.
So
Yeah.
it all comes down to who's watching the show. If, like, say, all of Dietrich's fans, to use him for example, because he has a lot of followers, if they're not really watching the show or they're not people that are going to vote, then it still can go anyway.
Very
you know what
true.
I'm saying? So, but I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
In all honesty, I expect Kinjaz to win.
Oh, you're on the Kinjaz
Oh,
train.
I said I expect.
What was that?
I said I expect them to win.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
But your
Okay.
hope is still.
I'm not going to be surprised when they win.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of would like to see a different crew take it for some reason.
Word. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our show. We want to thank you for tuning in. A couple of things. Make sure, again, the finale is going to be this Saturday. So you want to make sure you tune in to watch the finale, because we're going to do the special after show on a regular time next Wednesday, and we're planning on having some special guests. So you want to make sure that you tune in. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a special. I mean, we're going to get turned up. I mean, that's just how it goes. Because
are we?
It's going to be. We're going to. It's just turn up time. Turn up time.
time.
Turn up time. Just saying. So make sure you tune in to watch that show because it's going to be vastly amazing. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint all day, every day. Desiree, where can they find you?
You can find me at dmurph625 on Twitter and Instagram. And whatever your favorite crew is, don't forget to vote. They need your votes.
Absolutely.
Once again, y'all, it's your boy Nino, and you can find me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Yes, vote, 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 y'all. Kinjaz all the way.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeff_Thurm and let me know how much you disagreed with me tonight.
And then one more thing, make sure that you comment. Obviously, on our YouTube channel, this will be downloaded. Make sure you comment, and I want to know who you think should win and why.
Right.
You know, make sure that prediction, because like I said, it's not going to be until Saturday, so we got some days to kind of how that's going to go down. But I'm just curious to see what you guys think, and I go from there. I mean, I'm going to be right, but just saying, we just really want to know what you think, and disagree with Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.